Hey there, Tolkieneers. I'm Danny J.
I'm Joel N.
I'm Trevor D.
I'm Joe Vasky.
And together we are...
Keep on Tolkien.
Yeah. Joel's back.
Yeah,
Yay.
back and refreshed and ready to go.
2 full episodes without Joel. Here we go. We're getting into a doozy, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
This is episode 7 of season 2, Rings of Power, right? Doomed to Die.
Doomed to
So let's get into our initial thoughts. We do this sometimes.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. So I'm going to say, this might be an unpopular opinion. This might be, for what it's worth, my favorite episode so far.
That's
And-
not what I expected you to say.
And not for the reasons that it should be.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it that. I'll leave it there for now. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
And we'll get into it later.
I'm still trying to process how I feel about this episode. It had some very high highs and some pretty low lows.
It's pretty. It's
like
pretty
in general,
polarized.
like most of the episodes have been sort of a mixed bag, right? Some better, some worse. I'm still processing this one a little bit.
Joel's got to talk to his therapist about it.
Um,
We would have to wait till the next
At the
episode.
very least, I think I agree with what you guys were saying when we were talking earlier about it. At least it was an entertaining episode.
Right. That's what yeah. We'll get into that, but yeah, I would say it's It was the most entertaining episode.
Yeah.
I
would
was
agree.
glued.
Yeah, it was one of the better ones. If it's not the best one, because I kind of liked the first one. I liked how Sauron was all tenderly goopy monster guy.
That was cute.
I thought it was pretty dope. But this one is definitely the most exciting and shocking in some ways. We'll get into it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Yeah, I think it was my favorite of the season, too. No Númenórean stuff, which was good. No Isildur, which is good. And it also just had some great kills, some great action, and I loved all the Celebrimbor and Anatar stuff. It was also so dark. I loved how dark it was.
Yeah. And keep in mind, we've known each other for 30 plus years, and we have very similar tastes in film. So that's why I think we both really...
If you catapult
dug
an
it for the
orc
same
at a
reasons.
wall, yeah, we're going to love it.
It's hard to hate that shit. You know what I mean?
They definitely upped the core for this.
Yeah. But let's get right into it how we normally do, starting from the top, all right? How do we open? We open with Celebrimbor, and he's living in an illusion/mind prison.
He's having a good time. He's out there on the balcony having some like tea or something.
I want whatever he's on, dude.
Yeah,
It's
like
a very
a
serene.
It's like ketamine or something, right? He's putting in his breakfast.
His whole world is like glowing anew. It's just like,
Yeah, dude.
yes.
Yeah, he seems very at peace. But Anatar doesn't care at all. He says, "How fares your progress?" After Celebrimbor's beautiful little speech about how great he's been feeling recently.
Yeah, I loved it. Was such a sincere, like, nice speech. And then he
Yeah.
finishes, and Anatar just kind of, like, looks at him like, I don't give a shit. What are you working?
Where are the rings?
Are you done
Results.
I feel like a lot of managers are like that way. I feel like my manager at a sandwich shop that rhymes with Schmimmy I feel like he was like that. Maybe he's watching. I kind of hope he is. But he was like that. He didn't care what happened to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
that's
just wanted the work.
Just
That's
wanted it done. You know?
definitely Anatar. And like
Yes.
he even like tries.
He's a manager.
he
He's a fast food manager.
Oh my god.
And instead of a dinner rush, Eregian's just getting bombarded with...
Yeah, exactly.
He like,
Like,
but
literally
he
bombarded.
like tries to make you feel bad one moment, but then kind of nice the next. Like, oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah, that's
'Cause
the
he's-
pizza party, right?
Manipulation.
That's
Yeah,
the fucking pizza party,
the
y'all.
pizza party.
right after he asks like, what? How about the rings? He also is like, man, I really enjoyed the time we spent together. It's a pity it has to come to an end.
He's such an abuser.
Yeah, it
He's
really
such-
is like an abusive relationship where he's
Yeah.
kind of just...
But
and
baby,
then
I love you. You know, that's him.
he also notices, like, there's, like, a gem missing from Feanor's hammer, and then it's
Yeah.
bent. So
Yeah.
there's some, like, weird he can kind of, it's kind of cracking a little, the illusion.
Yeah, I feel like these are like
It's like that mouse.
glitches in the Matrix, like
Mhm.
kind of things. Yeah, where he's like, that's not right.
I
you
wasn't
know?
expecting it to take that kind of turn. I guess I'm okay with it though.
I mean, why not? I guess. I mean, if you're gonna like, what do they say? The devil's in the details, right? Like that's what you gotta like pay attention to. If you're being seduced by illusion magic, you might want to pay attention to the small details. If you're suspectful.
I mean, we'll get more into that.
Yeah,
part
we'll
of
get
the
into that
whole
later.
illusion. So at this point, we do a hard cut and we go outside to Eregion, under siege, and it is looking bad.
Yeah, there's fucking rocks flying through the
Yeah.
everywhere, exploding.
People are
Not cool.
dying.
The,
Towers are crumbling.
There's a lot of great shots here, like just sweeping shots of Eregion with.
Yeah, a lot of cool cinematography. That was another thing.
Yeah.
I think why we both like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
episode. Yeah, Antar's completely taken over. I love when he's like, Celebrimbor wants us to do nothing, and that's why we're defying him. Battle stations.
Yeah, he's such a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's an asshole. He just knows how to turn people against each other so easily. Like,
Mhm.
So we have a repeat line. The Anatar says to Miridania, you have proven your quality, right?
Mhm.
Right?
oh, the Faramir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Faramir reference.
Yeah.
Show your
That's
quality.
That's so memed out on the internet. I don't know why you would use that one. That's such a funny joke on the internet. I don't know.
Chance to prove your
Well,
quality.
And he follows it like with this the kind of creepy like when your time comes, like I'll see you're duly rewarded. Just like, whoa, bro.
What does this mean?
What is that?
Okay. All right.
Well, it's easy to see how Merdania, like, because to them it's like this emissary of the Valar is like it's
Taking
easy
a
to see why
shining to
they're
me.
like,
Yeah.
why you feel like honored that he likes you.
Super
Mhm.
cool. That's
What-
why scumbag professors always have sex with their students, right? Same.
Is that what that is kind of the vibe Anatar's
Yeah,
giving
he-
off.
he
with
is giving off that
Merdania.
kind of
vibe,
the vibe,
Right?
yeah.
He's a fast food manager and that.
Yeah, dude.
Not
Fast
good.
food manager, scumbag professor.
Not
He
good
plays a
vibes.
lot of roles. Sauron.
Got a lot of names.
lot of hats. That guy.
There's one thing I did really like after this. They show like the sky because of the siege that's happening and how cloudy or smoky it's gotten.
Yep.
Because we know that orcs don't survive in light in
Right,
this
yeah.
at this time. So that's kind of a neat way to keep your army
Shrouds
safe.
them from the sunlight with all the smoke.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the next thing that they do.
I don't know.
So-
Yeah,
Yeah,
he didn't
this-
like this part.
I don't like. Do
Yeah.
you guys? Okay. Let's talk.
I
let's
didn't
describe
mind
first.
it. I thought it was fine.
I mean, I liked the so that what we're talking about is at our turns they catapults to the nearby cliffs and crumbles them down into the river, damming up the river and drying up the riverbed in front of them so they can attack on foot. I guess I don't really mind that they chose to dam the river. That's a good strategy, but like how they went about it seemed a little silly. Like they just
I
shot
feel
a
like
few
it's-
rocks, catapults over there, just oh yeah, and they just like hit the side of the mountain. And all of a sudden, like a mountain collapses into the fucking river, and we're just like, oh.
I feel like it's gimmicky. So I feel like a lot of like the gimmicks in the Peter Jackson movies were like pretty to the text, right? For the most part, like Battle of Minas Tirith and stuff like that, the cool like showing up at the last second, like all that stuff is in the text, right?
yeah.
But then like when you get to like the Hobbit movies, they're always trying to one up the gimmicks of the battles of the first one with like the great Earth Eater and all that bullshit, right?
Right.
And now it just seems like they're trying to do that again. Like they're just trying to like, there's got to be some crazy gimmick to every battle. Just
I don't
Oh,
think it's
sure.
that gimmicky. They could have
It's
done
kinda
way
dumb.
more gimmicky though.
it's kind of dumb. Wouldn't
For,
you
for
dam the
Rings of
river like
Power
further
writers,
upstream?
It's not that dumb.
Wouldn't you just yeah, I suppose. But wouldn't you just dam the river further upstream without them knowing before you even got there?
I mean, there's something to be said about the effect it's going to
Logs?
have on their morale by doing it right in front of them. I'll agree. I think it was too easy. I think they didn't have to try very
Right.
hard to
I don't
do
think
it.
they had that kind of
in,
firepower.
In that sense, it was gimmicky, but it was a sound enough strategy where I'm cool with it.
I thought it was dumb.
Because I mean, I like how they then get to fight in the riverbed.
I mean, it was cool. I love that it created all the mud and muck. That was really sick. I mean,
Yeah,
that was a
added
good.
that really cool.
I suppose that was a good way to get there. You
Yeah.
know, dam the river, whatever. Okay, yeah, I'll agree there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 1 point.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, because maybe it does pay off because the mud is super cool. Like the mud and muck of these scenes is super nasty and and gnarly, and it's like pretty realistic. I think what kind of the medieval type warfare would be like.
It reminded me a little bit of some of the like Kingdom of Heaven battle scenes
Kingdom of
where
Heaven,
they're just like covered in muck, like hand to hand
blood
fighting.
and mud. Yeah, dude.
Well, during this dramatic sequence is when Arendir happens to arrive at Eregion and he sees the riverbed get dried up.
What a time to get there.
What a time to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect timing.
And then we cut back to Celebrimbor in his picture perfect world. I think this is where he notices the mouse kind of being like, that seems weird, right?
Like,
And
Yeah, this is where he's starting to notice that he's in what?
he, like
Draws
draws that
simulation.
He draws like a line on
simulation.
the candle.
Exactly. He's in a simulation. He's starting to catch on to the simulation, and then he draws a line on the candle to keep track because he's like, time seems to be moving strangely.
Yeah, it's like it reminded me of the part in the Matrix with the cat, right? The cat walking by.
Yep, exactly.
And then remember how they freak out? I always thought that was so funny when I was a kid in the Matrix when they take that shit very seriously when they're like, "What did you see?" The cat. It moved by twice, and they're like, "Shit!" They freak out. Yeah, I love it. Check out the Matrix, guys.
Yeah, check out the Matrix.
In case you haven't seen it, it's pretty good.
Check it out.
Do you guys think, because we assume Celebrimbor's been in this mind prison simulation for a long time, you think he's sleeping?
It does not seem that way.
No, I think
does
he's.
not
I think
seem
he's
that
up
way.
and around. I think everything he's doing. It's just what he's seeing around him isn't exactly accurate. At least that's how I thought it was.
Well,
like,
we get a glimpse of him, and he looks filthy.
yeah, he
Yeah.
sees himself
He
in the
looks
mirror.
like he
and
has
he's
He
like,
looks
oh,
awful.
God.
Yeah.
So after this, we cut to Khazad Doom, where Durin III is demanded digging continues, despite Durin IV and Deesa's protest, where they, tried to physically go down into the mines and stop anybody from digging further.
Yeah, it's like a protest or something. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much a protest
It's a
of the-
two-person protest, but
yeah.
it's working.
Yeah.
It's actually working, so okay. And this is when we see King Durin going pretty unhinged, I would say.
Yeah, he says he goes super hyper capitalist, and he says every hour we delay costs us unthinkable wealth, which is
Yeah.
like what I imagine like those people like trying to build a pipeline through like Native American land. They say right, like
Every
God
hour
damn.
we delay,
every day we lose oil
that's
money,
hundreds of barrels lost.
barrels and barrels that we
Just
lose.
Daniel Plainview.
Yeah,
Pretty
modern
much.
day Daniel Plainviews that do that.
I thought it was a cool moment with Narvi though when he joins in the
Yeah.
protest and was kind of I don't know I felt like it gave Narvi some agency.
No, I loved it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because at this point he's just been sort of the king's like.
puppet guy.
Puppet-
yeah.
Puppet dude, yeah. Which is not what Narvi is, and we talked about that in the episode that you weren't here. I talked about how you and I felt about it. That the friendship of Narvi and Celebrimbor got totally shafted.
Definitely.
And Narvi's definitely not the character he should be.
Yeah, they're clearly glazing over that whole friendship.
Right. And yeah, we were disappointed by that. But yeah,
A small moment of redemption.
small
for the
moment of
character.
cool shit for Narvi when he's like, yeah, they throw down their weapons and we're like, we're with you. That reminds me of like in the Scouring in the Shire with the sheriffs. Remember when they're like,
Oh yeah, when
we're
the
doing a
sheriffs join.
revolution, and they like throw their hats down on the ground. They're like,
Yeah,
let's do it.
Something I didn't catch the first time when I saw the scene too is the whole conversation between Narvi and King Durin has started off because Elrond, and they don't specify Elrond, but they do say that elves have arrived
Mm-hmm.
from
right?
Eregion.
from
Yeah,
from Eregion, and I totally missed that because what happens next is Elrond, like Narvi's like, hey, we got this elf who's been banished from all lands for all time. He's just hanging out outside.
This was kind of a sweet little. I don't know. I like their friendship. It was
Me
a nice
too.
little.
I liked this exchange.
I totally forgot why he was banned from Elven lands, and then Joe reminded me it's that dumb Mithril shit from the first season.
Yep.
With like he betrayed the secret of the tree or whatever, tree being healed by Mithril
something like that.
Yeah,
it was
like-
It was kind of convoluted.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
convoluted.
I couldn't remember. Anyway, that was something that I could not remember for the life of me how that happened. That was funny, though. I was like, is Elrond banned from all Dwarven lands? When did this happen?
Really? Yeah. I
But
love.
yeah, their conversation's really great.
I love.
when they
I
catch
love
up.
that conversation. Yeah. Like Elrond walks in, Durin's like, "Have you any idea what I've gone through since you left?" He's like, "You've got some sand coming here, right?"
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I thought that was sand. Okay, sure. I like it.
Yeah, their back and forth is cute though. Elrond says it can hardly be more eventful than what's transpired with me.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a pissing contest. Of
Exactly.
Who's,
Yeah.
who's had it worse?
And Durin comes back with, "Well, I'm about to overthrow my father.
Yeah. What do you?
Pretty
been up
big
to?
deal.
Yeah.
What do you got?"
And then of course Elrond's like, "Yeah, I need your help in Regian. Like
Yeah, brings up the whole battle, the war.
now."
I think if I were Elrond and he said, "I'm about to overthrow my father," if I was the same person, I would say like, because that's obviously the end of the argument. I would just say, well, at least you have a father.
Oh.
Ooh, because Elrond's father is on patrol in the skies, right? He never knew
In
his
heaven.
father. In heaven,
Flies in heaven.
in a magic boat.
So then we cut back outside, and Regian orcs march across the dried riverbed towards the wall, and they bring forward
Baby
this-
Grond.
Baby Grond.
Baby Grond.
This new siege weapon that seems to be original to the show. They call it a Ravager.
I think it's kind of goofy that the orcs are bringing in this weapon, but Merdania is the one who calls out what it is. She
already
tells all the
knows.
elves, she's like, "Oh, that's a Ravager."
Oh,
It's
they're
like,
bringing up Ravagers. Oh,
Oh,
look
shit.
at those. How'd she know that? She's an orc spy.
apparently she's something, man. She's apparently not just an elven smith. She's,
You know what that is? That's poor writing when they have to explain something that is just pretty much unexplicable. They're like, we're going to bring in an unknown siege weapon right now.
That's why they should have had the orcs doing it. Like, that's why the cool. It was cool when they were like Grond, and then you see
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, that's Grond.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. Oh, that's
now.
what that is.
That's that
You're
big
just like,
fucking. it's that
They
big
should have
fucking
been
thing.
chanting Baby Grond.
Yeah, baby.
I guess it wouldn't be Baby Grond.
Well, they should have
if
gave it a fucking name or
A
something.
name.
Yeah.
Daddy Grond.
Daddy Grond.
the wall gronder.
So yeah, that was weird. Let's move on to Celebrimbor again. Okay, is that okay? You guys have anything to say about the siege weapons or anything?
We'll get
it was
into
an
it more.
We'll
it
get
was
into
an
more
interesting
later.
Concept, but
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll get into more siege weaponry. Yeah, in Celebrimbor's tower, he's figured out that he's in a simulation. He's straight up like, you know,
Figured it out.
He's like, this is the 10th time this mouse has stood
Yeah.
up and wandered
Yeah.
across.
I wonder how much time is in between repeats. Like, is it super short, so much that like he'd notice in 20 minutes, or does he?
I don't know. It
You know?
seemed like it was
daily.
like I almost assumed like hourly.
Oh, you thought it was like
seemed,
hourly? I thought
It
it
seemed
was like-
really short. Yeah.
Well, I guess we don't know.
Well,
if
that would be
time's
pretty
like,
easy to spot.
Yeah, I mean,
feel like.
I'm sure they purposely didn't specify the
Yeah.
time.
Time could also feel different in there, maybe, or
True.
go differently.
God.
Well, I mean, the candle was a clear indicator of that. Yeah.
Sauron can create hyperbolic time chambers.
Oh shit!
Oh
You
yeah.
can bend the space-time continuum.
Dragon
Holy
Ball
fuck.
reference for anybody who knows that.
But so Celeborn, he confronts Anatar directly about this, and he straight up asks him, "What have you done to me?" And he says, "No emissary of the Valar would do this." He's finally
This is when he finally
connecting the dots that he probably already knew were there in the back of his head.
He's
And-
like, usually the gods won't mind fuck the children of Iluvatar
right.
for any
And
reason, really.
guilt trip them.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it's when you-
manipulate them and lie to them.
like. I feel like he's known, but it's one of those things where it's like it's so terrible that if you don't want to acknowledge
You
that
don't
it's
want it
true,
to
that
be
like
true.
Anatar is Sauron.
Well,
It
he
is.
does.
It is like an abuser type relationship. It really. That's more of that theme.
There is a bit later where he basically says exactly that to Gladriel when they meet up, which again we'll get into that. But but he does like he does say like he knew something was off about him, but he ignored it because of what he had to offer.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he
Right,
wanted
right.
what he had to offer.
So Celebrimbor is not perfect.
But so during this confrontation, Anatar shouts, "I want the nine."
I want the 9.
And Celebrimbor throws Feanor's hammer at him, and the illusion
Breaks the
drops and it
window.
breaks the window, and he
I
can all of a
was
sudden
so mad.
hear the siege outside.
I was so mad. I couldn't believe after how much it seemed he revered the hammer in the first season that he just
Threw it.
threw it. Like I get that says something about the fucked up state that he's in for sure,
How
Feanor's hammer.
how fucking crazy would you have to be, Trevor?
To throw Feanor's hammer?
No, to throw your fucking PC out
Oh
the
my
window.
god!
Oh my god.
My life would have to be
Yeah,
over.
to def-
Like-
He just picks up.
To just defenestrate your fucking
I think it was a
computer.
decent way to show how how done Celebrimbor was,
How
though, that
broken
he was
he
just
is.
like,
right. Yeah, no, that's he was cracked. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he starts shouting and he goes out and he checks he sees out the window or whatever the siege is happening.
Yeah.
And he stumbles back.
He's fucking
in,
devastated
and
too.
he's devastated. He's seeing the world for what it is now. Everything's dirty. He's dirty. The fucking
Yeah, he
the
sees his
forge
workshop
is
is
in-
like a mess.
it's a
It like
mess.
crumbles,
he
and
probably smells terrible.
he probably smells. Yeah, he's probably what's that
Mhm.
fucking smell?
I know
Oh god!
I know that this Celebrimbor doesn't like super closely follow the books in terms of like how it's going down with Sauron and everything, but I really do love Charles Edwards as Celebrimbor.
I love this dude. I think he's one of the best actors in the show.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
bar none. He's fucking crazy. People were so mad about his short hair in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Who's bitching now? After seeing his acting performance, who is bitching now? All right.
Yeah, it's not how I would have envisioned Celebrimbor myself, but man, he is killing this character that
No,
they've written for him.
he's great.
Him and Charlie Vickers are
They're-
my favorite part of this season for sure was their dynamic.
They're dynamic. Yeah, 100%. I would. Yeah. It's
As much as I wasn't a fan of the character of Halbrand, yeah, Charlie Vickers is fucking nailing the
No,
Anatar
now
right
that he's
now.
back to text
Yeah.
character like Anatar, and this is the kind of shit that Anatar would be doing, and it's like this is what Sauron should have been doing in season
the whole
1.
time. This
Yeah,
is
the
what
whole time.
This is what's so riveting to watch when we know it's him and we get to see him manipulating people. Like,
Yeah.
It was also gnarly when he knocks over the mithril and all he
Oh,
finds
yeah,
out that
it's
his
like
blood was in
blood.
there, and then Anatar like shows him the black blood coming out of his palm.
I don't know if this is canon, but it's like on the internet, a lot of people believe this. I've never heard this anywhere in the text, but like they also say like when Sauron created the One Ring. Have you heard this, Joel? That he used his blood to make it.
I saw something about that earlier
there's
today.
actually,
Yeah, he used like a.
I don't know
dagger or
about
whatever.
from the text, but there's a cut scene from the Peter Jackson films
Oh, is there?
where, in the sequence that we see during like the prologue, we see him standing in Mount Doom and we see him going like this. But if you look closely, he's actually still got a dagger in his other hand.
Oh, he's doing that.
And there was a CG scene they cut out where it was a ring in his hand, or it was like gold or raw gold in his hand.
okay.
It was raw gold. He poured like raw gold in his hand, and then he took the dagger and cut his hand, and the blood and the gold mixed.
So
and then
that's where it came
and
from.
then he went like this, and he created the ring.
Okay, so that is that.
I think
that was
that
a
I
PJ
think that's
invention?
where that's coming from. I think that was a PJ
Cool.
thing.
Okay, so that's a PJ invention. Well, they obviously had heard about that, probably the writers, and ran with that too. Because I had never heard that.
I hadn't
in
heard that
text
until
before.
very recently too, when
Yeah.
looking up stuff about this. Yeah.
I liked his when he was like, "You are he, are you not?" And then he
Finally.
was like, "I have many names," as kind of like
That's such a like.
yeah.
I love that because that's like a Satan line, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the devil always says that when you're like, he's
I
like,
have
don't
many
bother saying my
names."
name. We we know who I am.
I was kind of thought it was weird though. Right after this confrontation, that Celebrimbor just leaves.
Yeah. He just lets him.
Just
leave.
abrupt. Like you guys are having a moment. He's calling you out for who you are, Sauron.
And
You just
Sauron just
let him
lets
go?
him. Yeah, and Celebrimbor runs out the front door and then gets like blown back by a small explosion.
Bro, where's he gonna go?
Well, and he did the work of making it like, and Celebrimbor looks even crazier because he's like coming out of his tower just dirty and not
Well, that's
having
like-
showered. and-
Sauron's smart enough to know that that's exactly what's going to happen when his crazy
Well, yeah,
ass
that's-
runs out there and starts saying that the guy that's leading the siege is like crazy and all this shit. Like nobody's gonna believe him.
Well, that's exactly what happens.
It's
yeah.
exactly what
He
happens.
just
That's
he goes straight to the wall and finds Merdania on the wall and is like, "Hey,
I love this
Shit's
Merdania
bad.
scene. Her end.
Are we getting there? Are we-
Oh,
that's
yeah,
where we're
yeah.
at.
Is that where we're
Yeah.
at? Sick. Yeah. Okay. This kill was fucking vicious, and I loved it, dude. And
it was very entertaining.
It was also muddy and mucky too, which made it even
I
better.
loved how they show her hit the ground and the blood like out of her mouth, and then the orc finishes her off.
With the axe,
I was like
yeah.
waiting for something to save her, and they just
They were
nope.
like, nope.
So I was really mad about this the first time I saw it because I did not notice Sauron move his hand.
Oh, you didn't
I
see
didn't.
that?
I didn't notice that
Yeah,
at all.
that
And
was
so I was
him.
like, "What the fuck? They just had Celebrimbor
No.
throw her off the wall."
Yeah, dude, no. That was totally Sauron, like, manipulating that shit.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad I watched it.
No,
a
and I
second
love that.
time.
That's what makes it so Sauron is that, like, that was one of the people that he was using as, like, a pawn in his, like, game, right?
Yeah, Merdania.
And he
she
chose
got her
to s-
reward.
He chose, she got her reward, right?
Yeah.
Which is a cruel death.
Yep.
Whenever you fuck with Sauron or Melkor, right, you get a cruel death as your reward. But yeah, he chose to sacrifice her like that. He was like, I can make this look really bad for Celebrimbor. Kick her
it
off
was,
the
It
wall.
was a good because right after that he goes, "There's going to be more of this if you don't finish those rings."
Exactly,
and it's
yeah.
a very strong motivator
Yeah.
for Celebrimbor to get back in there.
Two
and-
birds with one stone for Anatar.
Well, and I love
Yeah.
this because Celebrimbor's like, "What are you gonna do with the rings?" And Sauron says something along the lines of like, "Create a long-lasting
peace, which
Well,
is fucked up because that's what Sauron
That's
truly does
true,
believe.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in his. Yeah, he wants to bring ultimate order. He's the ultimate hyper fascist. He wants everything to be the trains to run on time, as like fucking Mussolini would say, right? Like, that's what he wants. Like, that's all he wants is perfection and peace and cooperation.
Causes a lot of chaos to get there.
yeah,
Right,
even
he
if he has
thinks
to force it.
He has a very heavy-handed approach to achieving that, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say
very
that's a very
controlling approach.
Yeah.
Very controlling.
Yes, yes.
So then it's at this point when horns sound and everyone looks out and we see the army of Lindon has arrived, led by Elrond himself. Hooray! They're all on
Yeah.
horseback. Hooray!
The costumes and stuff looked really cool.
I loved all the elven.
They were
armor.
The
really cool.
elves looked fresh to death. I fucking
Yeah, they did.
loved the elven
Yes,
costumes,
that was
dude.
good costuming.
That
See,
was great
Amazon, you
costume.
Even all
can
the
do it.
horses, I liked all the horse
I-
armor and stuff.
Yeah, I love
The
the look
elven
of
helmets, did they remind you at all of the dragon helm? With that,
yeah, I guess a little bit. Yeah, with that crest on the top, right?
yeah, they all reminded me a little bit of the dragon helmet.
In that, are you talking about that one specific? Is it Alan Lee or Ted Naismith? The one with Turin standing over the cliff, and he's got the cloak on. That one. Yeah, that rendering. Yeah, I would definitely say that. Yeah. But I knew you were going to bring this up.
Yeah.
Repeat concept. This is Joel's.
Yep.
This is Joel's theory throughout the whole thing. His thread. Repeat concept.
So in this scene we do get another. I'm sure a lot of people probably recognize it. This scene felt pretty familiar. You know, mid siege of a city, when the main good guy has just addressed the main bad guy, they're interrupted by horns of a new ally army arriving on horseback to save the day.
Never heard that before.
Pretty familiar. Battle of Pelennor Fields.
No. Really?
Gandalf and the Witch King.
What?
Witch King?
What?
Which king?
Wait, who?
Which one?
The Witch King?
Oh. Which one?
Wait.
The Witch
Wait,
King?
Which?
Okay. All right.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll spare you guys. I'm sorry.
Abbott and
I kind
Costello.
of was annoyed by the when they charge and you're getting ready for the clash, and then they fucking pull the reveal that Galadriel's
Oh
in the cave.
yeah,
hated this.
and they all like
get,
come to a halt, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
yeah, they get the audience all reared up and ready to go for this big old charge assault, and then nope.
You can't
Then
get
we're gonna
the audience that riled up and then not
And
follow
literally
through.
everything stops, and then they just go talk.
It too quickly. It's
Yeah.
too quick. Like they're charging so fast. It's like you don't stop horses that
This-
quickly.
that many horses. Yeah, I don't know.
That would have been
So-
so funny if they
all
just
just
started
hit
a
each
shit.
other.
They just start bumping
Oh,
into each
shit,
other.
yeah.
So my biggest issue with this episode, I guess, the biggest issue I had with this episode is this part of the episode where they're about to charge, and then all of a sudden it stops, and the whole battle pauses for this silly conversation that doesn't make sense why they'd stop and walk away and go have this conversation. And then when the conversation's done, they just all sort of like, all right, we're going to fight again. They all
Let's
just
just go
walk
back.
back to their sides, and then they start fighting again all of a sudden. And it's like the whole thing is dumb, and we're getting to
It's-
the dumbest part of this.
This whole fall of Aragian has been a Rube Goldberg machine of like getting to where we need to go.
It's true, yeah.
Like, are we? What is happening? You know
Side
what I mean?
quests. Side quests. are
Side quests,
happening.
and like, What is going to happen here? Are the Numenorians going to show up?
I have a.
Is that what you think?
I have a feeling that a lot of this weird ass writing is a result of the fact that they kept pushing production forward through the writer's strike.
Oh, great.
I think that writer's strike would have affected this production, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But
Well, maybe
tell
that
Joel
gives,
if he's
Fucking
awful and
stupid.
wrong and stupid in the comments.
maybe that gives more hope for season 3.
yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
But so before we get into that conversation that they have, I just want to say I really liked. So despite the stupid full stop that they did,
It looked pretty.
I liked the zoom out shot
Yeah.
where they had the orcs still in like the cover of the smoke, and then all the elves kind of like
Oh, you could see the
glistening in their
line,
armor. You could
yeah.
see the line of
the sunlight
of
and
the
the
sunlight.
shadow.
Yeah, it was
And
very pretty.
It was very pretty, very good
Very,
guy
very
versus
pretty.
bad
Like
guy thing.
The orc makeup's great. Like
Yeah.
all the
Makeup is
costumes and makeup is all
top-notch.
awesome.
Got a lot
Yeah.
of close-ups of the orcs too.
Yeah.
With
All
this.
the orcs looked fucking top notch.
And this is why, guys, I loved this episode. And it wasn't for, like, the lore reasons. It wasn't for Tolkien reasons. It was because it had some badass fucking battle scenes. And it looked real fucking pretty. And at the end of the day, I'm a guy that was raised on action films. And at the end of the day, I go back there. You know what I mean? So, like, this shit looked cool. And I there's no complaints there.
Let's talk about something you probably don't want to go back to though.
Okay, yeah, what's that?
the conversation between Adar and
Oh, yeah, that's
Elrond.
right.
Yeah.
So during this pause,
This is silly.
Adar and Elrond go to like Adar's tent or some shit where he's having some weird Adar orc meal.
Right, where him and Galadriel were treating
Where him and
earlier
Galadriel-
They're having
episodes.
Yes.
an orc meal.
And he explains that Eregion and everyone in it are pretty much all lost to Sauron at this point. Like,
It's
Elrond's like, you're playing into Sauron's hand, and he's basically like saying, I don't fucking care. Everyone in there is basically lost already to me. Which, I mean, that's kind of a harsh judgment on the whole place. I mean, I know Sauron has a strong influence, but
I mean, it's that.
just,
No,
to
yeah.
condemn the whole city, just
No, I
offhandedly.
wouldn't say that. Yeah, like I would not say it's fair to condemn
Oh yeah.
the
All
soldiers.
over
Oh
again.
yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I was not about to like come at you. No, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah,
I
to-
think they should commit genocide.
yeah, like hang the generals, not the soldiers. You know what I mean? Like never. Like the soldiers are rarely at fault. Like it's the dudes up top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so during this conversation, something interesting also happens. Adar references Elrond's foremother, Melian, and he says
Yeah.
something along the lines of that, he has her beauty, but he also hopes that he has her wisdom too, because Melian was known to have foresight.
Yeah, she was super smart.
Those
Ask
your
him to
mom jokes are a lot different when the person making them like actually is old enough to have known your mother and
Well, yeah.
your mother's mother.
Yeah, all the way back. Yeah, it would be knowing elves would be fucking weird, dude.
I don't know if I'd like it.
I don't know if I'd like it either, but I mean, you could be like, I party with the same person my great great grandfather used to party with. You know, that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
I like that in this scene, Elrond comments about how willy nilly Adar is with his troops. He
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
says something
His-
on the lines of,
his
"Are you
orcs.
prepared to spend their lives so freely, and are they like willing to give them?"
Yeah, and then he looks at the orcs, and the orcs start like kind of.
Well, isn't that when he says? Is this when he says yes because I don't want you to be Sauron's slaves?
I think it's right after this scene when. The
Yeah,
orcs
that's a bit
Mhm.
later. He,
Oh,
he
we'll get to
totally
that.
he totally avoids the question.
Oh, he just avoids the question this time. Okay, well, yeah, we'll
That-
talk about that line later.
That
'cause
orc with
that,
the very human eyes is there though. That's always kind of
Yeah.
that has the
Mhm.
family.
the human eyes.
Glug
yeah.
or whatever.
Glug, yep, glug.
Is his name
Glug.
Glug? Oh, cool.
Glug or glug or something along those lines.
Sick.
So yeah, at this point, Adar's not even like listening to conversation, where he just says Galadriel's life for the ring. What's it gonna be? You know. And at this point, Elrond
What?
refuses, and he says no deal. But I want to say
No deal, Howie.
no deal, Howie. But he asks to say goodbye to his friend first, and they say all right.
Like
And so-
I noticed him take the thing off of his shoulder,
I noticed that
and I was
too,
like,
yeah.
what was he gonna do with that? And then it totally vacated my mind because of what happened.
And then this is when we get the infamous kiss that I'm still trying to process.
I don't get it. I literally, my mind just glazed over it. I was like, that was fucking dumb. Okay, I don't know what to think.
Just block that
I
out.
don't know what to
Don't
think
even
of that.
start to address it.
Because I was like,
He should
so
have.
he's making out with his mother-in-law.
There's so many issues with
It's
this.
fucking weird.
He should have had the pin in his mouth, and then he like passed
that
it to her
would've
to make
made
it. That would
sense.
have made it more
If he
believable,
walked
though.
over there, if he walked over there and showed it in his mouth, like, like, and then she'd be like,
And then it goes like she starts choking on it.
no.
And then,
Yeah. It goes all wrong. Yeah.
She did at least look surprised afterwards.
Yeah, she
like
did.
like she's like, did that just
I
happen?
mean, it still seemed pretty slow and sensual.
Well, I
oh
but-
yeah, there was some tongue involved, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was weird.
I didn't notice the pin at
So
first
fucking
either,
weird.
so I was like, "Is this just like how friendly elves say goodbye?"
They're
Like,
super friendly up in Lindon. Yeah, holy shit.
I mean, even if the showrunners try to explain it away as like, oh, that was just his way of being able to hand off the brooch without
Holy shit.
anyone noticing, I still think that that's kind of a bit much.
There was a better way,
I
I'm
think
sure.
there's a better way of doing about that, and I don't think anyone was looking for that to happen.
I literally just thought of something.
What's that?
It's yet another Star Wars ripoff. The Leia and Luke kiss. Right?
I suppose, yeah. It's
like
not
the-
ultimately.
like the
I hope it doesn't
disturbing-
go anywhere.
Well, like the disturbing, like, why did that, like, and then when you think about it in context of the trilogy, you're just like, the fuck? Like, what was that
well,
for?
they didn't know when they kissed.
But like, why would they put it in the movie type shit? You know what I mean?
This example is just
George Lucas is a little weird.
he's a little
He's a little
pervy. That's what
weird.
I'm saying.
But
Like,
I mean,
it's
this
a-
is
it's
just
a
so
little
frustrating
pervy.
because, as I'm sure a lot of you nerds know, Galadriel is Elrond's mother-in-law. Technically, at this point in time, Galadriel is not only married to Celeborn, but she's also supposed to have a child,
Yeah.
Celebrian. And
Celebrian.
shortly after the fall of Eregion is when Elrond and Celebrian fall in love and get married. But
Mhm.
so this whole like Elrond kissing Galadriel thing is just a bit too much for me. It's a lot too much for me.
You've never kissed your mother-in-law?
I
Not like
can't
that. Holy shit.
say I
would
ever
hope
have.
not.
I mean, I know there's the whole weird like mother-in-law or sister-in-law thing and like the porno craze, but I didn't need that here. Like,
The,
it's
Yeah.
not
the
what I
writers
was-
are just
I
like,
don't-
we're gonna cash in on
I
this
go
so
to-
hard.
I go to Pornhub for things
Help,
like
mommy,
that.
I'm
yeah.
stuck in the dishwasher.
Yeah, I'm stuck in the dish.
Help, stepson! I'm stuck in the fucking dryer again.
Oh man,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
They just cash in on any trend they can, huh?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kiss was just not necessary.
Mm.
I don't know. I have not heard of a single person that has been okay with that kiss or liked it.
I feel like so far this episode, it might be the best episode, but it also has the worst
See,
scene.
that's what I'm
worst
saying.
moment.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It has some of the
Mhm.
highest highs and some of the lowest lows. Like
Mhm.
After
This
this,
is
though,
like-
I think it's all pretty much good.
yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah.
It is
No,
definitely
I
the lowest
I'd
low
agree.
of the show, but I mean, like this, it's hard to hate this one in my opinion.
I mean,
Yeah.
the very next thing is super cool.
The very next thing is super cool.
I mean,
Let's get into that.
I think that's kind of what I mean by my mind glossed over it because it was just like,
there's so much.
all right, that happened, but there's so much else to worry about right now. Let's move on, and let's do that, gang. Let's fucking move
Let's
on.
move on. Let's
How
move on.
about that?
So next we cut back to Khazad Tomb, where Durin IV, Prince Durin, gives an inspirational speech to the dwarven soldiers as they prepare to go to battle in Eregion. And he mentions that, quote, Sauron the Stoneheart, who stole the 7 smithing secrets from our forebears, has returned. And he gets all the dwarves fired up, and they all chant, Baruch Khazad. I really liked this scene because
That was cool.
Baruch Khazad is actually one of the
Their battle cries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is the real battle cry
it's,
of the dwarves.
it's short for what's it short for? It's a short for like
Axes of the dwarves.
yeah, it's short for Axes of the Dwarves, but the whole thing is Axes of the Dwarves are upon you, right? Isn't it like
It is
Baruch
Baruch
Khazad,
Khazad I Menu, which
we
is
go.
the axes
Cool.
of the dwarves. The dwarves are upon.
Damn
I
it,
us.
how do
fucking
you-
knew
how
it. I
do
knew
you
he knew
remember
it.
that
I knew
shit?
he knew it. That's why I had to
Well,
ask.
because it's because that is one of like only a few examples of written Khuzdul that we ever get.
And Joel chants it in the bedroom.
I do like when the dwarves chant. It's very
when the dwarves chant, it is
It's
is
awesome.
very intimidating, and
It's awesome.
we don't
Yeah,
get
they-
like the dwarf army in Lord of the Rings.
What do they
really.
chant? They chant Khazad.
Yeah, in one of the earlier.
That's what I like. That
episodes.
Khazad. Doom. That's really fun.
One of my favorite things about this whole speech scene is we finally, like, okay, he's talking to like a small group of people initially, but then like he gets up in front of a ton of like a countless number of dwarves.
Yeah.
We don't get to see that scale in this show very often, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's true. You'd expect
also-
to see that scale in like Numenor. And
Yeah, Numenor. I mean, even the Southlands. Like, how did these people keep getting new people?
Where-
These
Right.
seem like they
Where
were
are
such a
all
small
these
group.
people?
Yeah. No, I love the diversity among the population of Khazad-dûm too. There are all kinds of dwarves, right? All
Mhm.
kinds of different colors, all kinds of different shapes and sizes.
Well, it's true because
Cool.
technically at this point in time, after the first age, they've actually got refugees from the two other fallen cities out west. So
Belagast and
there
Norgard, yeah, the Blue
are-
Mountains, yeah.
there are, I think, a total of 3 of the dwarven houses living in
Smashed in
Khazad-dûm
there.
at that time.
Yeah. And it enriched, remember we talked about that in our Khazad-dûm episode, how it enriched the culture and knowledge of the kingdom at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So next we jump back to Eregion, where Elrond's horse gets its throat cut in front of him, and he loses it. That
How
was pretty
many-
brutal.
This is
How many horse girls lost their fucking mind when that happened? They probably, I bet you there's a lot of like really pissed off people on the internet about it. Has anybody seen it?
That was a pretty brutal animal kill. Animal kills
It was
are
obviously
usually a little more
fake.
touchy.
I mean, the things we watch from like the 80s and 70s are real animal killings, and they used to really fucking do that for movies. I'm pretty. I don't want to say I'm sure it was fake.
It was
Amazon.
fake. I'm sure.
Amazon
Jeff Bezos did it himself. Jeff Bezos just looks into the camera.
real horse in here.
I'll do it myself.
want this to be real.
It was worth it though because it got the orc catapult kill,
Yes.
which
okay,
was
this
one
was
of the great kills
this
of the
was
episode.
one of the great
this
kills.
this moment was fucking fried gold. It was fucking awesome. Yeah, I loved it.
And I love the noise the orc made when it hit the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
love we
cool.
get the full sequence. Like he stabs the orc or something, and then throws him on the thing, and then launches it, and he's like, no, and you literally hear him say, no,
All the
no,
way to the wall.
and then splat.
Yeah.
Oh, we see the full. Oh, it's so great. Yeah, this was a much more graphic.
Oh yeah, there were some.
One of the more graphic episodes.
some
and
brutal
that
ones.
is good in my
Yeah,
opinion.
in
I
my
love that.
opinion, yeah.
It's right after this super dope cool kill that we get. We're back at Adar's camp with the orcs, and they're all like,
Yeah, this is where Glug.
yeah. He's like reporting back, and he's like, "Should we retreat?" He's like, he just jumps the gun. He's like, "This shit's going bad." Like he's real nervous, understandably so.
Understand? Yeah, a lot of the
As you
orcs
should
are
be.
dying.
And
There's a lot of us out here dying, dude. What's going on?
Because they joined Adar to not have to fight and die.
Exactly.
And now
they
that's
wanted
what
to
they're
live in
doing
peace.
anyways.
Exactly.
Is that kind of like World War One, right? War to end all wars type shit. Let's fight in this one last war, so we'll never have to fight in a war again. That always turns out great, right?
Well, and Adar's kind of iffy with this because he's like, I just love you too much to let you become Sauron's slaves. So I'm going to make you...
Well,
I'm
that's
going to have a bunch of you get killed fighting.
that's what I said. Like I joked when we watched it. I was like, "So you can be my slaves?" Because that's essentially what they are now. They're just Adar slaves. Like he's become an oppressor to them. Like he's not the revolutionary I thought he was. You
Sending
know?
them all to their deaths.
Well, it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to... I don't know. I think it was a little comment on how it can be hard to be. Like you have like this idealized version of who you want to be, and then when you get to power, all of a sudden... it doesn't happen like how you think.
Are you arguing that power should be decentralized? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like the power corrupts and all that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
What's
I was
this?
just
know
making
that
sure.
saying.
Just making sure.
Total power corrupts totally or something
Or
like that?
absolute power corrupts
Absolute
absolutely.
power
Yeah.
corrupts absolutely.
Yeah, 100% sure. Yeah.
So next we get Galadriel breaking free of her bonds because she had been, shackled up by Adar at this point.
Right.
And she
She took
disguises
the pin
herself.
out of her mouth.
It's deep in her throat.
Still in shock from that kiss. She breaks free and puts on some orc clothes to try and get out of the camp. And this is when she actually witnesses a little bit of some funeral pyres that the orcs were doing. And this is the first time she gets to, I guess, witness orcs being humane. And she even witnesses Adar cry over the dead orcs, which I guess touched her.
I mean, I think Adar
Of course.
does care about the orcs, but I think he's also he's pretty callous towards them in this episode.
Yeah, he's definitely prioritizing his either hate or fear of Sauron over their well-being.
Probably a little of both. A lot of both.
A lot of both.
Galadriel does get past this. I love how he just walks right past her.
Yeah, no one notices.
And she is then kind of found out, right?
Well,
and
I guess someone does notice.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. Oh, because they had a people following her. That's right.
Yeah.
They already knew, right? I bet you Adar maybe already knew.
So yeah, a couple of the lady orcs figured it out and cornered her in an alley, and then she gets saved.
But yeah, Arondir to the rescue. This guy is
Love
a
Arondir.
sniper.
Yeah, I fucking love this
he
dude.
is.
He's so cool. I think he's
He's
great.
super hell-bent on killing Adar, though, because,
Yep.
he took everything from him, is what he says. And
Mhm.
I love what Galadriel says to him. She says, there's a dearth of elven heroes this night. It would be a pity to lose another.
Oh, that,
Yeah, she's like, don't go commit suicide. You're not going to do anything if you try to go kill him here. Like,
You know,
this is the middle of his camp. You're going to die.
It's funny that she used the word dearth because I was just listening to the first episode you came on as a full member, the Fell Winters. And we in one of the quotes it said the dearth that followed after, and you asked specifically, you're like, "What's a dearth?" And then we defined it for you, and you were like, "Cool."
Yeah.
There was just this moment where you just learned the word dearth, and I just thought it was kind of cute that she used that word. It was a callback in my own mind
It's an origin
to
word.
Trevor's thing.
Oh, that's like some 4D chess from the
Yeah.
Rings of Powers
Yeah.
writers.
How did they know?
Callbacks for your personal.
Yeah, you think that the writers of the show are KoT fans? Is that what you're saying?
That could be too. That'd be cool.
Oh. That'd be cool. Hit us up if you are listening. Yeah, why not?
So back in Khazad Dûm, Prince Durin IV is gearing up for all the dwarves to leave for battle, and then Narvi shows up all bloody and tells Durin that King Durin III has personally killed all of Narvi's men that were protesting the dig, and the king is now digging himself, risking releasing, quote, the beast. I guess they now directly recognize that there's some sort of a beast down there.
We haven't really ever. I mean, they heard the roar, but
But we never saw them come to the conclusion that there was a beast there specifically, and that they were so close that if they keep digging, they're going to release it. I don't remember them getting to that.
We jumped
conclusion.
to that conclusion.
We've
I
now
think.
Yeah, they
jumped
only
there.
mentioned it maybe the one time when Durin's like, no, well, you can't keep digging because Disa heard this big shout.
That's just kind of fun.
Right.
That's just kind of lazy writing because it's just we all know where it's going. Let's just get there.
We'll just move past
We'll
it.
get there. You know.
But what this does is ultimately it makes Prince Durin have to choose between using his army of dwarves to save Eregion or to defend Khazad Dûm now.
is that crazy for the king to kill his own men like that?
Yeah, that's pretty fucking wild. Yeah,
That's pretty
I was a little
dark.
sad to not see it because it sounded gnarly. You said that he was just cutting men down like stalks of wheat or
That's
something.
true.
Yeah,
Should've
that's
showed
exactly
it.
what they said.
Should have showed it.
I would love to see King Durin. I mean, it would be
We already got to see him
it
do
would be cool
a
looking.
gnarly force push. Imagine him
Yeah.
beastly
Yeah.
cutting
That would've-
bifurcating people
Yeah, that's what you need to do, Amazon. A bifurcation
they did.
They got kind of close.
They did. Yeah, they got kind of close.
with
with that shot was so
That's a
fucking
little later,
cool.
but
We'll
yeah.
talk about that when
So back in Eregion, we've got Anatar. He's hanging out with Celebrimbor while he's chained now.
yeah,
to
now
the forge.
Celebrimbor's back in the forge and he's chained up, finishing the rings.
I felt so bad for Celebrimbor this whole episode.
Me too,
it's
man.
Just he
too.
grew to be one of my favorite characters
Me
this
too.
season, and it's just
It's sad.
he's just so fucked to this episode.
He just wanted to make pretty things, man.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted to fucking do. He's the most innocent character in the show. It's sad, in my opinion.
Yeah, Anatar really just takes advantage of his creativity
His glee for
and
creativity,
kindness and,
yeah.
I suppose he's sort of revealed at this point. Should we reference him as Sauron?
Yeah, we could
you
go.
might
with-
as well,
He's still sort of in the Anatar form, and he's still fooling some elves in the Anatar form.
I suppose
So,
he would be. Yeah.
You call him Gorthauer if you wanted. Yeah.
but
This is when we finally recognized it was Gorthauer the whole time.
He's got many names.
cool.
Well, he says, "Be not afraid. This too shall pass. All our sufferings will be worth it." And I was like, man, like he's still going hard. He's still like, even though he's revealed,
Manipulating
he's still
hard.
going hard.
Does anybody know why? So this is a funny thing. I might as well ask if anybody knows why and post in the comments. Sauron is a Quenya word, right? And it is used by the Sindar like crazy. But the Sindarin word Gorthauer is used by virtually nobody. Like, why is that the case?
It's a pretty cool name.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird because, like,
Well, they speak a lot of Sindarin in this episode, right? The
well, they
elves?
just in general, because at one point speaking Quenya was illegal because Thingol made it that way because they were he called it the language of the kinslayers. Yeah, and
It's harsh words.
bro, yeah, and he made it illegal to speak in his realms, which is the Sindar realms are everything not in Valinor, right? So, yeah.
I did really find it interesting when Sauron starts talking about his relationship with Morgoth and how he
Yeah.
suffered under Morgoth and how they had different like goals. I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool, and it kind of contrasted like how he was like Melkor just wants to destroy, and I want to just create perfect order. And
Let me tell you, I've been looking like when I look for the fanfic for the keep on Tolkien segment that we do for the Patreon, Tolkien Gets Sexy, where we read gross fan fiction. He did suffer in a lot of these ones. He's
in the fanfics,
in the fanfics. He really suffered.
In a lot of these fanfics, people came
Yeah.
up with some creative ways.
They came up with some creative ways that
Whoa.
Sauron suffered under Melkor.
I really liked the line that he says in this little monologue where he says sometimes the pain becomes the reward, like
Yeah.
like a game. Like it just really showed the twistedness of Sauron.
Hellraiser-esque.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
Hellraiser-esque.
Angels to some, demons to others. Yeah, there you go.
And he tries to blame Celebrimbor, being like, "Hey man, you're the author of your own torment right now. Like this is your fault, bro. You brought
Yeah.
this on yourself.
Another abuser.
You wanted it so bad. I
Another-
gave it to you. Like
Another abuser tactic. Just blaming them.
Celebrimbor has a great line though, and I think it kind of cut Sauron a little bit when he's like, "You truly are the great deceiver. You can deceive even yourself."
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're not even really honest with who
You're
you
such a
are.
bullshitter.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved that line because not only is it using his given title of Sauron the Great Deceiver, but it's weaving it into a dig.
Yeah, I
It was
love that.
nice. Very nice.
Cool writing there.
And I think it is a little true that Sauron is. I don't know. I don't think he's totally honest with what his goals are.
No,
what he wants.
his ends do not justify the means. No,
Right.
no, they don't.
So after this exchange, Sauron leaves the room, and Celebrimbor begins to try to destroy the rings and escape his chains. We see him throw them into a fire, and something similar happens, just like Frodo and Gandalf in Bag End, where he like picks the rings out, and all of a sudden they're cool. They're not hot anymore.
I wasn't sure if when he pulled them
They're
out,
quite cool.
because
Quite cool.
Did the
Quite
rings
cool.
look kind of gold at first, but they were silver? After
Yeah, they
he
did
pulled
look
them
more
out?
silvery when he put them.
It's
pulled
like
them
he
out, but
burnt off the paint or something. I thought that was interesting.
I loved. It was so gnarly too when he cuts off his thumb. I
Uh,
was
yeah.
like, "Let's
Love
go,
that.
cut
So,
off the thumb."
I literally made the joke. I was like, "Cut off your hand, dude."
Yeah,
Because
the
like whenever you
saw-
see somebody not be able to
saw
get
bit.
handcuffs
Well,
off,
and the
that
reason-
does go through
let's
your
at
mind.
least say the reason why he's trying, or he cuts off his thumb, is because he tried to break the chains with like his hammer or whatever, and he couldn't do it. So then he looks to that device.
I still feel like he's in a smithy. Like he should have had a
You think
way
he could have got it off
to
without
break chains.
He probably hasn't slept. He's probably just like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna."
Well, could the thing I would have at least tried the thing that he used to cut his thumb off. I would have tried to cut the chain with that first.
Same. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking too.
That's what you were thinking, yeah.
But he went
Eh.
for the thumb.
He was tired.
I didn't like him having to dismember himself, and it's not because I don't
See,
like
it's
gore.
kinda
I love
Saw.
gore.
This is
Don't get me
totally
wrong.
like it makes no sense for the lore, blah 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 blah. But it's something that I love
Yeah.
because I love when people have to chop off their fucking hands.
I feel like he was already
just
like
five things. It's fun. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's I love.
If it was anybody else, not Celebrimbor, I
Yeah.
didn't think he needed
No, I get it.
to go that far.
Yeah, I get it. I think it's just like this show has gone beyond where it's like the characters are like sacred for me. So it's like let's have some fun sometimes. So more battle. Let's get into it. It continues to go on outside where Celebrimbor he escapes. Right, he goes right out into the fucking battle.
Yeah, so he escapes the tower again, and
Again.
Doesn't he get hit by like? Isn't there another like explosion that kind of like sends him flying
gets
again?
Sent flying like
He's
twice.
Pretty
which is
lucky.
kinda funny.
Pretty lucky guy.
But then the Eregian guards think he's insane, and they try to rein him in and bring him back to his tower. When Galadriel shows up and saves him from the guards.
Yeah, he is the true Lord of Eregion.
I love you can hear Sauron shouting from the forge when he finds out.
I
Yeah.
like
I love how
too,
Brimbor's
yeah.
gone.
How mad he got. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
whole episode, it was really funny that he like doesn't really care about the siege, but he's so concerned about
He's
Celebrimbor
basically
finishing
like,
the rings.
as long as I can, even if it's from the fucking dust of this city, I will have those rings. Like that, I don't
Right.
care if it's from the rubble. It will be. They will be mine. Yeah, I love it. Sauron's so much cooler in this season because he exists, and he didn't in the last season.
Yeah, well, the main reason he's yelling is not just because Celebrimbor's gone, but because he took the 9
He
Yeah,
took
took
the
the
rings
rings
with
with
him. Yeah.
And here's where
He's not
Celebrimbor
happy.
gives those 9 rings to Galadriel and asks her to leave while he stays behind to sacrifice himself, basically, to slow down Sauron.
I liked his speech here about like light and dark, and I
Yeah.
don't know.
She tries to talk him out of it, and he gives this very heartfelt speech. And I don't know. At this point, I was just like, this is so heartfelt, and it's so
this joke
sentimental and
as
close
well.
together. I was like, are they about to kiss too now?
I made this joke too. Today. I
Galadriel
was like,
and
kiss.
Celebrimbor, like, who is she not going to kiss?
She was holding his face, like they were
in
close.
last season, she was about to kiss Halbrand at one point too. Like, who is Galadriel not going to fucking kiss?
I cannot believe this is what they've done with the character of Galadriel. It's super funny. Like they tried to make her cooler, and everything they tried to do made her lamer, which is kind of sad because she was a pretty cool character to begin with.
Well, yeah, she definitely doesn't come across as like a super intelligent 1,000-year-old.
No, she's
No.
supposed to be much older than Celebrimbor, and here she's portrayed as much younger and sillier, and Celebrimbor's older and wiser. When it's supposed to be the reverse, really.
Yeah, Galadriel's always supposed to be the smartest person in the room. She hung out with Melian a lot.
Exactly.
Who we mentioned this episode.
Yeah, it was
right?
weird that when Adar was talking to Elrond and Galadriel was in the room with them,
He didn't mention Melian to her.
he didn't mention Melian to her, even
You
though
know
she
your
hung out
homie?
with Melian all of the time, and she's supposed to be like the third age equivalent almost
yeah,
of Melian.
Yeah.
But he talked to Elrond as if, oh yeah, Melian, your great
Your grandmother
grandmother,
who you don't know from
who
fucking.
you don't fucking know. Well, you could have just talked to Galadriel.
Galadriel,
I mean,
who
she
knew
was
her
even
quite
present
personally.
for that conversation.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
right there, and
She
it
was
was
right
her
there.
like homie for years.
Mhm.
It was in Doriath
Yeah,
for
it's
like a
just,
long ass time.
a little weird.
It's fucking weird. Like it's like they got like bits and pieces of the lore, right? I don't know.
I'm
where
sure
they're getting
some of
this
it.
shit.
I'm sure some of it is just because they don't have the rights to some of the earlier stuff. But
I
Maybe
feel like there's got to be a cleaner way to do it than this.
yes, I agree.
There's got to
Uh,
be.
I'm actually of the opinion in this scene that neither of them should be the ones taking the 9 rings, or actually going back to Sauron, because they've both been under his taint or influence.
They've both been under his.
You're talking about Galadriel and
Galadriel-
Celebrimbor.
Celebrimbor, yep.
They have both been tainted by his taint.
His taint has been
send in
all
Arondir
over
or
them.
someone else. Come on, like why neither of them should be going back.
No,
to
neither of them
Sauron.
should be trusted with those rings. The only person you should probably trust with those rings is like Elrond or
Arondir, maybe.
maybe
Yeah,
Arondir. Yeah,
yeah,
give him to
Arondir.
Arondir. He doesn't even fucking know how important they are at this point, so he's probably not going to be too swayed.
Yeah, give them to somebody who has no idea what they are. I need you to deliver something for me.
It's very important.
I want to take out some insurance on the package.
So at this point, we cut back to Elrond and company on the front lines. At this point, Elrond has, I guess, walked from the conversation tent back to the front lines, and now they're fighting again. Which is
Front lines being the riverbed.
yeah, which is
so-
just weird. Fun note. At this point, we learn that one of Elrond's elven soldiers' name is Rion.
Yeah.
She's like an elite archer.
Did you guys have
she's some
like
kind of badass.
oh, they gave this elf a name, she's gonna die now?
Well, I mean, Rion is just a famous name from lore. It was the name of the wife of Huor / the mother of Tuor.
A rather doomed character, though.
A rather doomed character, actually. Yeah, she dies
fitting
quite
name.
dramatically and depressingly in the stories. Actually, we'll get to that in our coming 100th anniversary special series. But
if you want to hear more about that depressing shit, check out our 100th anniversary special, which will
I guess
be,
it's an appropriate name for what happens with this character here.
yeah, she doesn't get much better. Honestly.
The first words out of my mouth after all those arrows went into her was, "Oh shit, she just got Boromired."
Yeah.
she got Boromired.
She got Boromired hard.
But in the
did her
mud.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that one Uruk-hai in the Two Towers who got lit up, but he still
The
dove
Berserker
into
one.
the Berserker,
Oh,
but he still
yeah.
finished the job.
Yeah.
Oh, she does too.
Yeah.
Because Elrond says something about like one arrow you loose could like change the tide of battle, and she stuck to it. And
It was true. I love the cool shit that they were doing where they were throwing flammable shit in the air and then shooting it with arrows. And it was just raining fucking flames down on the orcs. I love that.
That was fun. That was fun.
That was cool. There's so much fun stuff in this episode, you guys. If anything, like, I don't know, watch it on mute or something. Like, if you really hate this show, I don't know. It's fun.
There was a lot of fun Arendir killing orcs going on
Yes.
during this part of the show too.
Like,
Yeah.
you can't help but have fun during this
I
episode.
liked how after she had blown up the trebuchet or whatever, or the Ravager, she was full of arrows, and that one orc just hit her with one more.
One
just
more
to-
good one.
I don't think she blew up the Ravager.
What did she blow up?
Yeah, it was either
'Cause
a
the-
Ravager or
'cause-
some other siege machine. I'm not
Because
sure what it
Elrond,
was.
after this, because we're getting to it, Elrond attacks the Ravager, and the troll uses it.
Oh, she blew up something.
Were there
cool.
multiple Ravagers? Anyway,
I
don't know.
she blows up
Something
one of the
blew
orcs.
up.
Because it was
Some fucking big dude.
it was it had a bucket, so it was probably a trebuchet.
the fog
Because
of
the
war,
arrow
dude.
went in a bucket and
It was
exploded.
probably a trebuchet. You're
Yeah.
probably right.
The fog of war, dude. It was
Fog
something
of
big.
war, yeah.
Something big over there blew up. I don't know what the fuck it was. I want to get away from it now.
So the next thing that happens is Arendir notices that the orcs start to clear a path because Adar is bringing up the troll.
Fuck yeah, the troll.
This shit was cool.
I also like how the Glug was like, bro, he's gonna
It'll
kill,
kill our
a
own
bunch of our
kind.
guys. This troll doesn't give a shit.
And Edar's just like, fuck it, let's do it
Send
anyway.
him in anyway.
Yeah. I love when it was grabbing orcs and shit and just biting their heads off and then throwing them. It was pretty cool.
It was pretty brutal.
pretty cool.
So then we cut back to Celebrimbor, where he confronts Sauron in the Forge with his guards, and naturally Sauron manipulates all of the guards and forces them to kill each other.
I thought this was dope.
I thought it was
Personally,
pretty
I
cool.
thought it was pretty cool.
Joe asked me an interesting question though when we watched it. Do you think Sauron has that kind of ability? I didn't have him have. I didn't really have him have any problem with him doing it.
I don't know if I would think that he just has that innate ability over anyone, but it sounds like he has done something to exert his influence
Just if
over
he's-
these people particularly because he spent so much time among them. I don't know if it was like a spell he cast or if he fed them something or what, but
I'm of
I
the
assume
Something
he
in the
did
water,
something.
man. Yeah.
I bet he put them into their own mind prison,
could be.
and
He had a mind prison for all of them.
yeah, and just made them all think they were in like a training exercise or something.
He has a
Gotcha.
shitload of RAM,
And then
dude.
they-
He's
Yes.
he's
Yes.
running a total ass 3-dimensional simulation for all those characters. That's
Some processing power.
crazy
right there.
processing power. Oh my god!
It seems like if he spends enough time with you, he does just kind of get in your head and
He worms his way in, as they say.
Boars and slithers, right, from the last episode.
Boars and slithers, that's
Boars
what they
and
said.
slithers, Yeah.
Then we get back to more the bulk of the troll.
The troll.
Oh, this is the
I
yeah,
love the
yeah,
troll
yeah.
stuff.
Biting off heads, mushing people.
Yeah, he stomps on so many people
does
and
a lot of
just
squishing.
keeps on trucking.
When he uses the orcs as a shield.
Yeah,
this
he
is
just picks up a
fucking
couple
awesome.
orcs and just orc shield,
He's just
human
having
shield.
a good time. This guy.
Yeah, it was a great fucking time. The troll sequence, a brutal death for that troll.
Well, and the
as
troll
well.
had such an attitude too. Like
Yeah, it
he
did.
was like, like there's that part where he spits an arrow at Elrond, and
That's
then
right.
That was so
even when
funny.
he's dying, he's just like laughing, like just
Yeah.
he's
Give a
just
fuck.
like,
was a
I had a
fucking
good
That
time.
was fucking evil
Yeah,
troll,
that was
straight up.
fun. That was fun for
Yeah,
me.
he's just like, I had a great time, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But it does ultimately get taken down by a combination Arendir, Elrond, and Gil-galad, which...
I am so... Joel, are you stoked on the Gil-galad scenes?
Yes. Where has he been this whole battle?
I know.
I think there was a
Iglos
brief...
the spear. We need to see it,
I think we
dude.
saw him
We did
once
see
for
it,
like a
didn't we?
second earlier
More
in
of
the
it.
battle, right when the battle started, and then it's just like, where the fuck did he go until now? But I really liked seeing like a 3-way team up with these guys because it reminded me a lot of what's going to happen in the future when
The Last
Elrond, Gil-galad, and
Círdan is there too.
and Isildur, right?
Isildur, Elendil, Sauron,
And Sauron, and the
Gil-galad,
fight against Sauron,
Círdan,
basically,
Elrond.
at the end of the Last Alliance.
Yeah, big
That's what it reminded me of.
big event in history there. A lot of players in that event.
But yeah, taking down that troll, that was a fun
He
fight.
does break the wall too. With the does he use the Ravager to break or?
So I don't think he broke the wall because he did like damage it heavily.
Yeah.
The orcs get it down a little bit later as kind of more of an ending thing. But yeah, he goes down and that machine is done. Like it's broke enough. I think that's why he grabbed it because he was up there to finish the job, and so he grabbed it, started ramming it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this happened kind of quickly with the sun rising. In this very next scene, it seemed like it was night and then suddenly
Oh yeah,
day.
I didn't realize that they had been fighting all night already. I guess.
That happened pretty quick. But Elrond, he thinks the dwarves are about to arrive. Like that's what the coming of the sun is supposed to mean for him.
Yeah, and he said as much. Basically, said when the sun rises, they're gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna save the day.
This was one of the saddest moments of the episode
Just
for me.
fuck,
Just
yeah.
Elrond kind of just sitting there like shell shocked, like his best friend didn't
exactly. I actually fucking loved this scene because as soon as it started, I was anticipating, the whole Helm's Deep all over again, where at sunrise the army's gonna show up on the hill and ride down and kill everybody. But
that
they
did not happen.
they literally like played on that expectation, which I loved, and denied it. And I thought that was great because it was just so devastating.
Well, because we didn't really know what Durin had chosen to do.
Right, exactly.
So I was kind of half expecting like, well, maybe he did like half and half or
Yeah, he said something.
Exactly.
A little
I actually
regiment.
thought he was going to come. I thought someone was going to come for a little bit there, and then they didn't. And I was like, oh, this is tragic. Yeah, Elrond is clearly shell-shocked, and he like is just sitting there saying like, Durin will come. Like, what was it a good handful of times?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just was because he was holding that messenger came back with like some arrows in him.
That's right. Yeah,
What
the
was
only
his
thing that
name?
came when the sun rose
Volund?
was a shot-up messenger,
His name was Vol something. I don't know. I forget.
an elf.
But yeah,
I
and
also
he's
forget.
basically just like Durin's not coming. He's dealing with shit in Khazad
Khazad
Dûm.
Khazad Dûm.
And we get a zoom out and we see just how many elves there aren't left.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very small number.
Very small number. They're fucked.
Well, I mean, fucking Adar told Elrond when they met, deep down in your heart that you cannot defeat me like military wise. Like it's just not gonna happen.
And it doesn't.
Well, and Elrond was putting all his eggs in the dwarf basket because he was
Exactly.
like, Adar has no idea
He
that
doesn't
these
know about the
dwarves are going to
dwarves.
show
Yeah.
up.
That's
Exactly.
true.
That was sort of his
That was
hope.
his trump card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, next we see that Adar decides to lead the final assault against the few remaining elves. He leads it himself. Very dramatic.
Why not?
And Arendir and Adar stab each other with an arrow. Each of them do. They're like stabbing each other back and forth.
Pretty fucking cool.
Until Adar pulls out his sword and just runs him through.
And then drops him and then it cuts.
Yep.
We don't even know if he actually died.
Did he
Yeah,
die or not?
I
I will
don't
be
know.
so mad if they killed off Arondir. Like one of the
You think they killed him?
I got a feeling he didn't die there. I feel like when Arendir dies, he's a
He'll
big enough
die
character that
dramatically.
they'll probably show us his death.
They'll have the death
But-
scene.
Maybe he dies from these wounds.
It was a good example of how skilled Adar is, I guess, though, because he took him down fairly fairly
He did.
quickly.
Yeah.
Adar. I mean, he's probably a badass. He's known
He's
combat
a
for
badass.
Pretty old.
many years.
Yeah, so we don't ultimately know whether or not Arendir is dead. He could die, like at the beginning of next episode, from the wounds. Who knows? I guess we'll see. There's been so many death fake outs last season. He'll probably be
Yeah.
alive.
This
It'll
show
just
likes
be
its
the next-
cliffhangers.
The next episode, if it's like the book, the next episode will just be the departure of Arondir, and he dies sadly, and we get to fucking mourn it for like 30 pages, right? Yeah, that's how we deal with death in Tolkien.
in the
right?
books, yeah. So the orcs finally breach the walls. The Ravager finally breaks through, or one of them does.
Yeah, they bust in, then they just start flooding in.
Yep.
Murdering people.
And Adar finds Elrond on the battlefield, just kind of sitting there
Being
in shock,
useless.
being useless.
Come on, Elrond.
I mean, that would be like one of you guys telling one of us that you're gonna show up for sure, and then you don't, and we're just like, I don't know. I get why
Meanwhile, you're
Elrond
getting
was
your-
just like,
He's
meanwhile,
in
you're
a
getting
lot
your
of shock.
ass
Like
beat, yeah.
he's been left hanging hard. He was not expecting that. Like he's in shock. And then Adar basically just comes up and takes the elven ring from him with hardly a fight.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, Elrond like pulls a knife on him, but he's like, nah, it's okay. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
take
because
this.
I guess he decided to go into battle with Galadriel's ring around his neck.
What if it's a fake ring, dude?
oh,
I hadn't even thought about that. It makes me so mad.
I hope they don't. I hope they don't do that.
I just thought of
I
that
hope they don't do
now. I
that.
hope it's not a fake ring. That'd be kind of lame.
You think Adar would know it's a forgery?
I don't fucking know.
Like he knows there's power in Morgoth's crown. Maybe he can sense power.
But yeah,
Oh,
again,
yeah.
that's why Adar wanted the ring, because he wanted, what was it, just one or all three of the elven rings to combine it with Adar's crown?
he just
To
wanted
kill Sauron.
Galadriel's.
Just Galadriel's ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think, or when they had their first conversation, when he was like being all tricksy with her, he did say like, with the power of those rings, like all three of them in the crown would
Right.
be chill. But he knows that, yeah, he just knows where Nenya is. He
Yeah,
doesn't
so
know.
we'll see what happens. That's the end of the episode. It cuts to black after that.
Yeah, that's it. He gets the
And-
ring.
How'd you guys feel about the credits music?
I liked it. I thought it was
the
sick.
the metal band.
I What? How did you feel about it, Trevor? I was wondering. I forgot all about this.
I thought it was very strange, to be honest.
I felt like it didn't fit very well.
It didn't
I
fit very
thought
well.
it was pretty out there.
yeah.
Yeah, I
pretty
liked
out
it
there.
though.
I don't
That's
wanna
why
say-
I liked it.
That I hated it because, like, honestly, it was like a '90s action movie, and a '90s action movie
It did feel
ends
like a
with
90s
movie,
action movie.
like a heavy metal song in the credits, or like a new metal song in
Yeah,
the
so
credits.
It was
right?
about as quirky as an Enya song starting up in the credits. Like
Whatever, man. I mean, it's whatever.
I mean, it's
Tolkien
like-
means a lot of things to a lot of people.
Anime
you know what
does
I mean?
that a lot, where you'll have like the darkest shit or the craziest shit, and then you'll
Anime.
just have a totally unrelated pop song or something as
Yeah.
the
On the
credits.
outro
That is true.
credits,
We
yeah.
should start doing that more in the
Yeah.
West. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
I agree. It was great.
I mean, I thought it was out of place. I didn't hate the actual track itself. I thought it was neat. But
Yeah,
it
I
just
didn't
it
hate the
seemed out
track.
of place, yeah.
it seemed out of place.
It was out there. I'll say that.
But that was episode. God, what episode was
Seven.
that?
Seven.
We got
Seven.
one
Oh my
more
God.
to go
Eight.
after this.
One left, guys. We're almost through this already. And just once again, let's go around just general feelings. I think this was like an enjoyable episode. Lots of ups and downs. Lots of strong reactions all around. But enjoyable. It's fun.
I will say my final reaction is that the kiss was horseshit. I can't believe that they did it. Real fucking weird. Don't get it. But I loved this episode. other than that trash ass.
If we could have just removed that.
If we could have just
Make it a hug.
surgically remove that from it and like make it a hug. That's what I was saying. Like elves hug each other.
Why wouldn't you just go up and like give her a hug and be like, Auran Tulva, or something like that, and
Yeah.
like slip it in her pocket or
Auran
something?
Tulva, snip it in her pocket. Why not? Yeah.
I don't
Come
know.
on.
That would
Done.
have been a fun
I
callback.
think the way I'm going to be honest with you guys. The main way they fucked up for this show is that they did not hire us to write for the show. Like I think that is where they fucked up the biggest. But no, I loved this episode. Super fucking fun. Not for Tolkien reasons or anything. It's because I love action movies that look cool. And that's what this delivered on. It was fun and looked cool.
It was a pretty well delivered battle sequence.
Oh, we got to talk about that one. We didn't talk about our favorite shot, the bifurcated orc.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it
that's
was
when-
almost bifurcation.
That's when
Almost.
Elrond is on a rampage.
On a rampage, yeah. There's
right?
it's like the orc is it's a really cool use of the foreground in the shot. It's like blocked by an orc, and then you see light come through as Elrond slices off like its entire fucking shoulder.
Yeah, maybe not bifurcation, but like
Yeah, but like damn near.
Yeah, pretty close.
He quarters that bastard. Yeah,
like neck down the chest, like yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty fucking.
And then
brutal.
it splits the darkness of the orc like reveals the light and Elrond
see
on
Elrond
a fucking bloodlust back there. That was fucking cool. I mean, shit like that. We could do one of our, like we did for the Peter Jackson movies. We could literally do on this episode one of those analyses like of these scenes. Like they're super fucking cool. Yeah, they delivered. This episode fucking delivered. The kiss was bullshit, but it delivered.
This episode is, I think, the first episode I've looked forward to. And this episode also has me looking forward to the next episode. I think the mid-season for this show has been real mid. I'll just use that same word. Like it started off strong with episode 1, and then it just kind of done this until this episode, and this is going back up.
I gotta say, I was also actually noticeably looking forward to this episode too.
Yeah, that's the first time for this season that I've looked forward to an episode like genuinely. So
Yeah.
And the next episode,
Saying something.
I'm excited for the next one too, because this episode set it up for pretty cool shit. So
Yeah. No, I'm eager to see what episode 8 brings. Stay tuned next week.
You can tell how jaded you are because you say this was a fun episode when this was the darkest episode of the season. So much depressing stuff happens.
Oh,
And you're just like,
dark.
this was such a fun, relaxing.
If you guys don't know, if you don't listen, if this is your first exposure to KoT, I eat that kind of shit up with a spoon. Like I know that I cover this like fantasy topic, but this is not really my thing that I'm mostly into. I like horror. And
No, like I
action
agree
movies
with you, it was fun, but I think most people were like shook by, and I mean I was shook by some of it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
But
really
no,
liked this
Merdani
episode.
death?
You knew that I'd love it because it's fucked up, and I appreciate that about you. Thank you. He knows me better than anybody alive, probably. So
But yeah, I really liked this episode. I liked it a lot. My favorite of the season for sure, I think.
Okay.
sick.
we'll be back next week.
We'll be back
Yeah.
next week. Yeah,
Tune
for
in
the
next
final
week, folks.
episode.
For the finale.
finale. And if this is your first time exposed to us, if the algo brought you here, we are Keep On Tolkien Podcast. We have a whole ass audio only podcast. Check us out. Go to keepontolkien.com. You can learn everything you need to learn there. I'm Danny J.
I'm Joel N.
I am Trevor D.
I'm Joe Vasky.
And together we are
Keep on Tolkien.
I'm going to say it like that metal band in the post credits.
Give it a try.
Was that good?
I'll take it.
Thank you.